What's going on, guys? My name is Clausith, and today we're covering Battlefield 6's latest update that's just gone live as of today, 11th of November. So it's well and truly going to be out by the time you guys see this video. Now, before we get into it, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. This is my first video. I've just started the channel up. I've also just started up a Twitch account that I'm streaming heaps of Battlefield 6 on. Not that I've got any views, but hopefully after this video that changes. I'll definitely be streaming Black Ops 7 for you guys this Friday once that releases as well. Now, I'm mainly an FPS shooter kind of guy, so I'll be sticking to Battlefield 6 for the foreseeable future, maybe a bit of Black Ops 7 as well, depending on how the game goes once it releases. Saying that, I'm open to all sorts of recommendations, so feel free to leave any recommendations that you've got for me down in the chat, and I'll definitely consider checking them out for you guys. I've heard great things about Arc Raiders, so that could potentially be on the schedule sometime in the near future. You might see that on the channel. I don't want to hold you guys up for too long, but I'd appreciate it heaps if you could like the video. Leave me any feedback in the comments that can help me improve the channel, improve my videos, video quality, audio quality, anything like that, as I'm sure I've got a long journey ahead, a lot of improvements to make. But I'd appreciate if you guys could join me on that journey, and hopefully I can build a bit of a community here, maybe play some games with you guys, create some entertaining videos for you guys to watch. But yeah, we'll see how the channel goes. Hopefully I can pump out some entertaining content for you guys, like I said, and you can join me on the journey ahead. On that note, let's get into the video. So the first one they've got here is they fixed an exploit allowing players to ascend and access unintended areas when standing on an XFGM 6D recon drone by hitting it with the sledgehammer. Now this one was super popular. I saw heaps of people doing this one, getting up on rooftops, getting their sniper out, picking people off. Now this was awesome for the people that were trying to do that challenge where you have to get a certain amount of headshots at a certain distance. Unfortunately, as of today, that's just not going to be possible to do. So some people might be happy about that one, some people might not. So next up, they fixed an issue where the lock-guided missiles didn't get counted as expected when met with enemy countermeasures such as flares. Now personally, I haven't had much experience with this one, but that's great for the people that are driving vehicles and trying to use their flares and they're just not working. So that's awesome for people that are going to benefit from that. They also fixed an issue where vehicles didn't spawn correctly in Breakthrough and Conquest. Now, again, this one I didn't really take note of. If they weren't spawning correctly, I would have just assumed that that was how they were supposed to be. But that's great for game modes like Breakthrough and Conquest that are big game modes and you really need the vehicles to get the win, especially the attacking team. Tanks are super important when you're trying to push that objective. They give you a massive advantage, especially when you're trying to push the point. So they also fixed multiple Battle Royale issues affecting match flow, squad revives, and end of round transitions. Now, admittedly, I've only played a couple games of the Battle Royale. I do need to still give it a bit more time, but like anything new, there's going to be all sorts of fixes, polishing up that they're going to have to do. It's going to be all sorts of complaints from people, bugs that people are going to find. So that's understandable with the Battle Royale that's only just released. So they've also addressed progression, audio, and UI issues, improving overall clarity, reliability, and immersion. So I'll delve deeper into what all of this means. So with the UI, they fixed an issue in vehicle customization where the locked anti-air vehicle presets didn't display their unlocked criteria as intended. So basically this just means that your locked anti-air vehicles that you haven't yet unlocked, you weren't able to go onto them and see what you could potentially unlock with them. So that's now possible to do that. Personally, I would love if they gave us the ability to change the location of the minimap, maybe even the size. I've heard a lot of people say that as well. Battlefield's a super customizable game with your controller settings, audio settings, movement settings. It would be great if they could give us that setting as well. And audio, I've heard a lot of people complaining that footsteps are too quiet or maybe they're coming from the wrong direction. So that's awesome that they fixed that for the headphone users that take advantage of that ability. Now the progression that they're referring to is they fixed an issue where the shotgun weapon challenge, kill 5 enemies with a shotgun without reloading, did not complete properly. So that's going to work properly for you guys now going ahead. They also fixed an issue where progression for the Engineer Specialist 3 assignment didn't save correctly. So now that's also going to work for you correctly going ahead. So we'll go into the player specific issues that they fixed. So the first one is where dispersion would be higher than intended when going from sprint to firing in ADS. So basically, if you were to be aiming down sight after sprinting, there would be massive dispersion in your bullets. This dispersion is still intended because they obviously want there to be a distinction between moving slowly and being accurate as opposed to running around, but they've just toned that down a little bit. And in relation to that, they've also fixed an issue where dispersion would incorrectly scale with movement speed and always assume the player is moving at maximum movement speed for the stance. So in simple terms, if you were to walk slowly while aiming down sight, you would have the same dispersion as if you were walking quickly. There would be no reward for moving slowly, no accuracy reward or anything in that sense. They also tune the landing animation to reduce excessive camera and weapon movement when aiming down sights, improving the visual stability during and after landing. This update also resolves instances where ADS aim could be displaced when sliding. So again, this is tightening that dispersion, making it more accurate for you to use your weapons, less intense when moving around, sliding, jumping. So next up, they tune the landing animation to reduce excessive camera and weapon movement when aiming down sights, improving visual stability during and after landing. This update also resolves instances where ADS aim could be displaced when sliding. So again, this just ties into having more accuracy with your weapons, being able to control them better, regardless of whether you're sprinting, whether you're jumping, whether you're sliding. Again, there's supposed to be a bit of dispersion when doing all of those things, but this is just tightened it all up. Unfortunately for some people, this is going to mean that those COD players that are coming from Omni Movement trying to bring it over, it's going to make it a bit easier for them to do this sort of stuff. And it's not going to have the same negative impacts on accuracy when sliding around and whatnot. So we briefly touched on the first map issue where the vehicles didn't spawn correctly in Breakthrough and Conquest. Now the second one that they've got is they fixed an issue where matches sometimes would start with all sectors and objectives active at the same time. So that's great that they fixed that as well. Just a bit of TLC. We love that. They fixed an issue in Strike Point on Siege of Cairo where destruction did not reset at halftime. Again, just a bit of TLC. So going into Portal, they fixed an issue where spawn loot would not spawn ammo or armor. They also fixed an issue where players with community creations privileges set to block could still access user-generated community experiences when the party leader hosted a match. So basically, this means that people that were not supposed to be accessing user-generated experiences were still able to do that when the party leader hosted a match. So going into RedSec, we touched on that briefly, but taking a deep dive, what they've fixed is they fixed an issue where Battle Royale, quad specifically, matches didn't end after the last team was eliminated. So I've personally experienced this issue in multiplayer and they still haven't fixed it. It's where your game ends and you get stuck on the loading screen. The only way to solve it is basically just to exit from the loading screen and restart your matchmaking. They also fixed an issue where being killed immediately after a mobile respawn completed could result in the squad being eliminated instead of reviving remaining teammates. Now this is a massive bug which is going to completely ruin the game mode and possibly turn people off RedSec, so that's awesome that they fixed that. They also fixed an issue where players could become stuck in top-down view of the map after redeploying. Now again, essentially impossible to play with this issue, so that's great that they fixed that as well. They fixed an issue where players retain their second chance after redeploying and did not transition to the end of round screen after the next elimination. Again, massive bug. It's going to mean that people retain their second chance and get to respawn again when that's not the intended function. So delving even deeper into UI and HUD, they fixed an issue where all squad members displayed the same highlighted stat on the squad placement screen. Another TLC fix, which is good that they've polished up. Progression, they fixed an issue where the Battle Royale Master Challenge 4 did not track progress correctly. So it looks like they've worked on a lot of challenges that weren't tracking progress correctly or progressing whatsoever. So that's awesome. So that pretty much wraps up the video for today, guys. Like I said, thanks for tuning into my first video. I'd appreciate it heaps if you could leave any comments, any feedback that you got for me that can help me improve the channel, improve the video quality, make it more enjoyable and entertaining for you guys. Go check out my Twitch account. Like I said, streaming lots of Battlefield 6 at the moment. Friday, I'll be streaming Black Ops 7 for you guys as soon as that drops as well. Thanks for sticking around and I'll see you guys in the next one.